I love my boy Goku. Goku's the shit. But sometimes he's got to get smacked around to realize he's not the only one who's number one. There's other people that are better than you all over the world. So Goku, you learned your lesson, right? Right? What's going on, guys? We are talking Dragon Ball Super Episode 5. Now I know this is a retelling of Battle of the Gods, and I've been, it's this series so far has been, entertaining. There's some good stuff about it, some bad stuff about it, but overall, it's been, it's been entertaining. There's a couple of things that have come to mind about Dragon Ball Z Super, and a lot of people are talking about it, and I gotta agree. I mean, I haven't really talked about the voice acting because, I'm used to the dub. I watched the dub other than sub, so this is like the first time going into a Dragon Ball Z series listening to the subbed, and I didn't really want to comment too much about it, because I know I'm gonna probably rewatch this shit in this dub version. However, King Kai's voice, everybody's talking about King Kai's voice and the voice actor who is just not into it. And, it definitely is so noticeable. It's like, fuck, man, I really do not really like this King Kai's voice, and the animation that we're seeing just doesn't go together. So I just want to address that. Like, I've noticed that over the each episode, but it's not too big of a deal, honestly. Because I know I'm going to watch this. I prefer, honestly, the dub version more than the sub version. But then again, I think they changed some of the dub version actors, voice actors as well. They changed throughout the years, but it's still somewhat the same. But yeah, King Kai as the sub version, I'm not really digging. It's there, but it's not too much of a problem, but I should address it at least. So I'll address that. Now, this episode consists of Beerus meeting Goku. That's it. It's Beerus meeting Goku. If you've seen Battle of the Gods, you've seen this shit before. Beerus, tests Goku out, or Goku wants to test Beerus out, and he goes Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, and then right to Super Saiyan 3, and it's like nothing when he's fighting Beerus. It's a sparring match, honestly. It's a sparring match. Beerus says, you're not the Super Saiyan God. I think I need to go to Earth and talk to Vegeta. I mean, this is the retelling of Battle of the Gods. You've seen this shit before in the movie. And honestly, I think it's better done in the movie than in this episode. I mean, the animation just doesn't feel... I didn't really necessarily like the animation in here. I didn't really like the fighting that was going on. I don't know. It's cleaner. Yes, it is very cleaner. But I just felt like the animation... It's like, by all means, not bad. It's definitely a cleaner, little step-up animation. It just kind of doesn't. There's some parts, though, however, that just didn't look very great, in my honest opinion. And honestly, these episodes, and this episode especially, really doesn't have me invested at all. I mean, we know Beerus, we know this story already. We just really want to get past this and really maybe get more down to the nitty gritty, and that's like when Goku and Vegeta do become gods, or the fusion of Super Saiyan and God mode. We want that aspect. We want even a villain that, the stakes are high. I know Beerus is threatening to, any little tick, he'll destroy Earth. However, Beerus is a unique fellow where he's not a cookie. You don't want a cookie cutter villain. You want a villain that has different layers. However, with Beerus, it's like, fuck, I don't really care, honestly. Like, I never feel a threat. I never feel like this guy is going to just destroy Earth, or I never feel like Earth is really in danger, because all you have to do is feed this motherfucker and he's fine, and give him some gourmet shit, some Gordon Ramsay shit, you know what I mean? But overall, I just don't feel like the arcs of Frieza, where Frieza, you had those weight, you had that confrontation, you had a lot of things at stake. Cell, a lot of things at stake. Even Dragon Ball had that shit, the Red Ribbon Army, and even when Goku was in the tournaments when he was a kid, he was fighting Master Roshi. He was fighting Master Roshi, and that shit had more stakes. Now, for this episode, it's like, it's a retelling, it's Goku versus Beerus. It's Goku learning about Beerus. Yes, I know we had to get that shit over with. However, I just felt like the movie did it better, and I feel like shit, it's it is what it is. It's definitely something that I really didn't care for this episode, honestly. I wanted, I was hoping that they'd try to stretch it out, but there's no, we knew coming into this episode what was going to happen, and they played it safe. They didn't change anything really, and they just stuck with the storyline with Battle of the Gods. And I think, that's, if you've seen something before, and then it's like reboots, right? It's like movie reboots. I'll go with Total Recall. Total Recall back in the 80s was a classic with Arnold Schwarzenegger, or was it the 90s? Somewhere around there, I think. Is it the 80s? That's awesome movie, and then you get the new Total Recall, the reboot, and it's like, I've seen the shit before, and honestly, it's not that better than the last, the original. And that's exactly what this episode is kind of like going for. It is you've seen this before. Honestly, it's not that great. It's really just stretching out like dialogue and shit. It's not that great from the movie. I think I'd rather watch the film. I mean, it's fast, it's quick. I mean, it's realistic of how this fight would last if Beerus is that strong. And that's how I feel about it. And the music was so like, it didn't help this episode at all. It didn't really fit the tone of this episode. So I thought the music was really wonky for this episode. I thought it just didn't fit the tone at all, or setting up anything with the confrontation of Goku or Beerus. I really felt like the music kind of really dropped the ball on this one. It didn't drop the ball last episode, so I'm a little kind of shocked how the music was not that, it really didn't set up the mood of this fight. The fight itself, like I said, it's done better. It's been done better. The animation, not necessarily. I wasn't really feeling the animation. I wasn't even really feeling the fight, honestly. So, it is what it is. So that's my thoughts on the episode. I just want to kind of get this shit over with so we could see something new, because we already Dragon Ball Z Resurrection of Frieza. That shit is fucking up, man. It's killing it in the box office. So hopefully, and it's killing it too, because we got a lot of new stuff from that film. We did get the God mode fusion with the Super Saiyan. So I'm looking forward to this series really exploring that even more. Maybe a little bit more, another villain coming in play. We have that big fat Beerus version. So is there going to be dimensions, time travel? What's the deal? What's going to happen once we're done with retelling of Battle of the Gods? Where are we going to go from here? I don't want Frieza in this series. We don't need Frieza. We need another baddie, or we need another villain that's going to actually have some weight to it. And I would love to see another god come into play with a better design than just fucking doing a Beerus, version of Beerus. I want to see another god somewhere else, because it was hinted that there was other gods in this universe. I want to see another god come into play. It's like GT, with Shenron. Even though GT shit, I did like that idea of, the Dragon Balls cracking after so many, because there's consequences once you use the Dragon Balls. I would love to see, and you had all those different kind of versions of Shenron, different dragons. That is a cool concept, and I would like to see that applied to here. But of course, done right, and the designs being done better. And of course, this series is already 10 times better than GT. I'm just saying some aspects of GT was actually pretty good, but they just fucking dropped the ball on that shit. And I don't think they would drop the ball on it here. But Battle of the Gods, retelling of Battle of the Gods, I don't think we necessarily need this shit, but it is what it is, and I think I just want to get this shit over with. And if they are going to retell this story, please bring something new to the table. I mean, I'm ready to see something new, and I'm ready to see maybe some twists going along the way, because at this point, I really feel like I'm more invested in the fucking series Gangsta, because we're getting with the characters and the little weight that's going on there, and there's a lot of things happening in there, other than Dragon Ball Super, which I would love. It's just there really is no fear of death in this series, and there's no really, even the fight between Beerus and Goku, like I said, we've seen it before. And then once Vegeta gets involved, I mean, just watch the film and you know exactly what I mean. But that's about it. I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm not saying I fucking hated this episode. I'm just saying I'm kind of ready for this retelling of Battle of the Gods to be over with. And for some reason, I was thinking, man, I wish Broly was in this episode. I don't know why. I think when Goku went Super Saiyan 3, I was like, fuck, dude. I would love to see another Saiyan arc, but done right, or not done right, but it was done right. But I would just love to see another Saiyan arc, like the Saiyan planet, come back or something like that. I just would love to have another Saiyan as a villain. I think the Saiyans are just such a fucking not a unique, but it's such an interesting dilemma there. Especially with Vegeta being the prince of all Saiyans, so bringing in another Saiyan. I mean, I want to see some, or even not even a Saiyan, just the dimension wise too seems kind of interesting. I just want to see something different with Dragon Ball. Right now, it's just I've seen the films. I buy their fucking merchandise. I'm just ready for something different. Come on, just sprinkle a little bit of something different, a little pepper here. Thank you guys for listening. Though, subscribe, like, comment below, and that's all I got to say about it. Let me know you guys' thoughts on this episode, and that's it. So Dan the Man, aka Daniel's son, is out of here.